reports of campus threats. How do we monitor and track those types of incidences, whether they're social media, whether they're phone call, whether they're physically coming to the schools? Because if we're able to assess the encounters, we can make sure our resources are appropriate. How do we track that?
Anytime that there's a threat at our campuses, we make sure that we follow it up with any law enforcement action as well. Whether or not it's founded or not, we still make sure that there's a report completed on that, and we can track through. We can get hold of the police department and track through that as well.
Okay. Now, do we have that a monthly report, annual report, anything like that again?
We don't have anything like that coming to us from the police department, but we can certainly ask the school resource officers for that.
I think that's important because, again, if you don't know what the encounters are, you can't allot resources properly or assess the situation. So if we can, and maybe we don't need to see it at the board, but I would like to see something being done. So we, again, if this campus has more social media threats, whether it's between students against the teachers or the reverse, whatever the case may be, that body may need to be a technology-based individual versus an actual resource officer type of situation. Again, just we need to know the statistics on what we're encountering, and then we can utilize the resources most appropriately, in my opinion.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is it'd be good to compile as we have incidents like this, and hopefully there'll be fewer in number over time, but to compile a list, and then just as we do with our other data-driven decision-making to help us decide where we need to put the resources.
And it's better than that. It's better to use that type of method than one-offs from school board members or people in the community if we're able to track those incidences and they be based on facts. And a lot of us have had encounters where people have come to them, me too, but I don't know if that was actually reported and if that's actually factual. So if we can get real data and be able to assess appropriately and then to feed the board that type of information, I think we could utilize that better. And I have one more question. When we do have threats, we send notifications to the parents. How quickly do those notifications go out? What's our standard?
Well, I'll take a shot at that. It depends on the time the threat comes in. It depends on the nature of the threat. Sometimes it takes some time to figure out whether the threat's credible or not. And so, and the thing that gets tricky about the time of day, I mean, there have been times I've been at home in a phone conference with different folks on the team trying to figure out the credibility and then get a message out. So it varies, but it's hours rather than minutes or hours rather than days, certainly. I'd say that that is such sensitive communication, and we do have some models and models that we use, some examples that we have from previous times, but we want to make sure that when you're sending out communication about such a sensitive topic to so many people, we just want to make sure we get it right the first time, because there's so much opportunity for things to go wrong.
And again, I say this because social media, where sometimes, and it's not by our fault because we have to go through the proper processes to verify, research, and collect the information, you'll have a student in a classroom posting or texting a parent a particular situation that hasn't been fully researched yet. And we could be viewed as being behind the 8 ball. So how can we, it's a very difficult situation, but again, if we're aware of the impact of social media, we can really try to educate people that we are researching something, but how do we monitor that so the parents can have more credibility and belief that we are researching things, but the students are already out there posting things before things have actually happened.
Well, that's certainly a 21st century challenge, and I can just share with you, having worked with the team, that that's something that we're very sensitive to and we continue to work on. So, and we will continue to work on making sure that our communication is timely and also accurate and meets all those standards when we reach out to our parents.
And final question, Dr. McAstee, related to this, language. How many different languages is this communication going out in?
Just typically in English, but if we have more time, then sometimes we're able to translate.
That's
Pay for the education of the third world.
Just one comment.